Hello and welcome to ChapterSkip. I'm Joe.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Mark.
And we're on podcast volume 12.
Thanks for joining us. And this week, we don't actually have any homework to talk of, which was a little bit disappointing. But it did mean that I got to spend the whole week not watching crap movies.
I did an official homework though.
Okay, you took it upon yourself.
We mentioned 21 Jump Street.
Right.
I think you guys said you kind of liked it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. So I watched it.
Yeah.
It was my expression that bad.
Well, no, I think I instantly knew what you were going to think anyway.
No, it wasn't as bad as I feared it was.
No.
A couple of moments made me go,
Yeah, that was bad.
yeah, I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't watch it again.
No.
But it was alright. It was okay for what it was. It didn't.
Yeah, it's one of those movies you could probably put on in the background and, you know, every now and again something funny pops up and you'll be like, oh, that's quite funny, and then just go back to doing anything else, playing cards or, you know.
Yeah, it wasn't something I'd sit and really want to focus on 100%. And,
Yeah.
but, you know, it was alright. It was better than expected. So, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Well, that's good then to hear.
Yeah.
But I don't plan to watch the second one.
No.
Nah, I don't
Well,
think there's enough
unless
to...
it's one of those things you could just, I don't know, grab a copy or somebody lends you a copy, you can
I
just
probably
pop it
will
on and just...
Yeah, if the wife ends up liking
Yeah,
it, then
like,
she'll
yeah.
buy it, and then I'll be like, yeah, alright, I'll give it a shot.
I think it is one of those things you watch with a lady friend, isn't it? Because they're probably more invested in it than you. It's got, you know, sexy hunk Channing Tatum and whatnot.
That's what they go on about him in the movies, going, every woman's like, oh, look at him, he's handsome. I'm like, we get the point.
Yeah, alright, I'm ugly, I get it.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum is a hunk. I get it, come on.
I could fit in the Jonah Hill's clothes, thank you very much.
Has anybody watched any other movies or any TV shows that they want to chat about? Because I haven't really done anything sort of movie or TV related this past week. I've kind of kept myself away from it and had more human interactions than...
I've been watching Prison Break. That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
really old school. But Chud told me to watch it.
Yeah.
You know Chud? You remember him, Chud?
Oh yeah, he sometimes used to come round here,
He used to
didn't
podcast with us once, didn't
Yeah,
he? Yeah,
years
one
ago.
time.
Whatever happened to him?
Don't know.
I think he got a new boyfriend, didn't he?
But yeah, no, Chud said about watching it, and I've completed the first series, and I'm on the second series now, and I'm like the fourth episode in or something like that, and it's getting really good. I'm really enjoying it.
So what is Prison Break all about?
It's about table tennis, actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
In prison?
Yeah.
And they break the bats?
It's set over an hour, that 45-minute period in prison when they have their lunch break. And that's what entails their day of lunch break.
Or it's whenever, have you ever played table tennis and then somebody knocks it off the table and you go and run and get the ping pong ball and you tread on it?
Ah, yeah.
And that's the game broken.
Yeah.
So it's Prison Break, in prison, playing table tennis. And it's about that moment when you break a tennis ball.
Yeah, that's about
Ping
it,
pong ball.
really. That's all you need to know, people.
So who wins? Who's good at table
Who's
tennis?
the best ping ponger?
The nonce one, he's good.
The nonce one!
Is he like a Vietnamese prostitute who fires him out of an orifice or something?
Yeah, his butt, yeah, he's really good. He gets his boyfriend in prison to fire him out for him when he loses one.
Tag team effort.
It's a good series though, is it?
No, it's really good, yeah, really, really good. And it's getting good now in the second series. I won't say why. But
They're broken out,
yeah, I wasn't going to say why, but it's a bit, yeah. It's a
Are they
bit,
on to the finals of the tournament?
that's sort of why it's getting
Was it
good,
like
yeah.
5 series or something?
Yeah, it was like made in like 2005.
I think they did a video game of it as well.
2005,
If I remember
yeah,
rightly.
I don't know, but I'm enjoying it. I really am. I'm getting right into it. I like sit there like on Netflix watching it, and you know, obviously the thing about Netflix, what we've said, where it starts up the next one, and then you want to go to bed, but you're like, okay, I'll watch another one.
It's already
okay,
started.
I'll watch another one. Okay, I'll watch another one.
So I'm like, I was caught up at one point on TV series, and now I'm really far. I haven't even watched any more Fargo since I've done my homework.
All right.
So I've only watched 5 of them. I've just got with all the baby stuff and that. I've just kind of fizzled out for the moment.
Yeah.
I need to get
No,
motivated again.
It's sort of like, you know, like Breaking Bad, where little things in it happen. And small characters, it all happen to come back, that sort of thing, yeah? Well,
Yeah.
like,
Okay, so it's a lot of sort of a continuing storyline. It's
Yeah.
not like sort of on their own episodes. It's more of a, you know, season-long story.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, it's,
Okay,
good.
that's
It's
fine.
good fun. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. It's good. And I'm a bit late to it, but I'm enjoying it.
So that's the good thing about Netflix. You
Yeah.
can go back and watch old stuff, new stuff, and good stuff, hopefully. As long as
The occasional bad stuff.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
plenty of bad stuff probably on there as well. I'm sure there is.
So what TV shows did you say you were caught up on now, Mark?
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm still halfway through Fargo. I'm now ready to watch sort of From Dusk Till Dawn. Still got that to watch.
Are they all finished now?
Yeah.
Because I've watched
They're done.
about 8 of them, and
I'm
not
still about
watched
3
the other-
episodes behind on Game of Thrones. Although I did pick up the other week, I did find which I completely forgot now. There was a Tremors TV series. I managed to pick that up the other week. So I thought
like the
it's probably
films.
crap, but I found it cheap. So
I
I'm gonna
enjoyed the
give it a shot.
films.
Yeah, the films are
I
good.
enjoyed the films, Tremors.
But I've not really watched anything new. I've been doing a few, just sorting out the DVD shelf. Although I did come across, which I don't know if you guys have ever found, like a really good bargain DVD somewhere, which I think this is probably the best bargain one I've ever found. This is in a second-hand shop. I found a 2-disc Region 6, which is a China only edition of Seven Samurai. And it's a 2-disc edition because the film was it's an extended version. It's like 200 and something minutes, so it's like half of it on one disc and half on the other.
Okay.
And I found it for £2.
That's great.
I always find my best bargain DVDs at car boots. Normally it's $1.50 or £1 or 50p or whatever for a DVD. Sometimes you can pick up some pretty good ones. I can't remember what we picked up the other day. I think it was.
I usually find crap.
I can't remember if it was like Hot Fuzz or something for like 50p, and then they was doing like 3 for £1. So it's like you just pick a couple others.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we picked up Blood Diamond from.
I'm not saying that. I've heard that's
yeah.
supposed to be quite good.
Yeah, explained a couple of podcasts ago. Anything like that you can pick up from your local car boot.
I was quite surprised to see like a Region 6 import though. I'm like, how'd that get in it with a little... There was this Wisbeach's Premier second-hand DVD shop from from Dawn Till Dusk. They got the wrong way around. I found it in there.
On a car boot once, I found for £1 a special 2-disc edition with a special sleeve of Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh, right.
Good.
So it has all the audio commentary on it, and because it's a movie full of like little nods to video games and other things like that. At the bottom, it like pops up whenever there's a reference. You know, there'll be a sound effect, and it'll go, "This sound effect was from so and so." Or there's one point where somebody takes a piss, and it plays the Zelda theme tune. And it tells you all about that. You know, and when something bad happens, it goes "duh-duh," and it's like, "Oh, that's the sound from when you press the wrong key on a Mac or something like that."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and
And I've still never watched that film.
Have you not?
Great film.
I've been around someone's. It was on in the background, and I just sort of saw bits of it, and I've never sat and watched it
I
properly.
love it.
Yeah.
I think I've got it on the Skybox at home. It just it was like, oh, it's on, we'll record it, and then haven't sat and watched it yet.
You want to watch
Yeah,
it.
it's one of those movies that kind of... It's almost like you're watching a video game, isn't it? At some
It
points, it's very heavily influenced by video games and sort of video game
But
culture.
it's sort of weird as well, again, and all this sort of strangeness to it, like all the things that are going on, if you know what I mean. as well.
Yeah, essentially. But it's an Edgar Wright movie, so you can't complain about that.
Well, obviously Ant-Man.
Yeah.
They had issues with him. Although there has been... Oh, I've done a good segue. There has been some names
I set you
of
up.
new directors. All right, new directors. Someone noticed, did you? There's been 3 new directors' possibilities for Ant-Man have been named. I don't know if you've heard those ones.
I haven't, no, but I have got something written down here. It's more of a sort of an insight as to why Edgar Wright did leave. But who were the people
There's
set
3
to...
at the moment. The possibilities is I think it's Ruben Fleischer, who did Zombieland and Gangster Squad. The other one is Rawson Thurber, who did We're the Millers. And it gets worse, and then the third one is Adam McKay, who did both Anchorman films.
Okay.
So they're the 3 at the contenders at the moment, as far as I'm
because
aware.
I did actually hear they wanted to introduce quite a lot of comedy into the Ant-Man movie.
Right.
Now, not being really familiar with the Ant-Man character, does it really warrant it? Do you know much about Ant-Man?
Not a lot. He goes really tiny, and he's married to the Wasp, who goes really tiny. But she's a mutant. But I thought I'm sure he becomes Giant Man at some point. So he becomes big instead of small. I don't know. I've never really followed it. That's about all I know.
He's an ant.
He goes small.
He's an ant, man. I can't seem to find any of my notes at the minute.
He's that insignificant.
Yeah.
No one cares about Ant-Man. The whole internet has gone, no, never mind.
Yeah, as long as it's not got Edgar Wright on it, nobody cares. Apparently Edgar Wright's exit from the Ant-Man was all down to script. I think we did kind of talk about that a little bit last week because we'd heard rumours of it, and it was just they wanted to go in a certain direction, wanted to tie it into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Edgar Wright was like, well, I've been working on it for so long, so I kind of want to do my own thing. But still got Paul Rudd in it, so that's something.
I don't know which decision was made, because surely they would have said initially we want it to be part of the cinematic universe, or did they not tell him this until later?
It was done in 2000. Well, he started sort of working on it in 2006, so that was before they probably even had high hopes of the Marvel Cinematic
Oh, I
Universe.
suppose so, yeah.
Because I can't quite remember when Iron Man 1 came out, but it was probably around that time. They probably hadn't thought forward that far. They were probably just like, all right, we'll make an Iron Man movie, see how it goes. If people like it, maybe we can integrate it into another...
But then surely by the time of Avengers, they've got that whole thing coming into play now, but like they're tying in all the films they would have known by that point.
Yeah,
before.
well, yeah.
Well, they sticking with Marvel. They've announced that Josh Brolin is going to be doing the voice of Thanos in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Looks like we've looked at the same websites this evening. We've got the same kind of notes. Yeah, I thought that was quite good. Because obviously at the end of the Avengers, we get to see Thanos, but we didn't get to see him talk or speak or do anything more than just sort of look at the camera and give a cheeky little grin.
Well, the rumour for this one is he's just going to be more in the background still, so I still think they're going to be hinting him ready for the next Avengers film rather than being the main bad guy in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, well, they've already got like the Collector, they've got Korath, the Pursuer, Ronan the Destroyer. Yeah, they've got all those kind of bad guys in there. So I think to cram Thanos in there would probably get a bit too crowded. So maybe they're just gonna hint to him and sort of leave us hanging on to Avengers: Age of Ultron, which is Ultron gonna be in Avengers, or is it gonna be something to do with Ultron, or is it gonna be
the main dude in that?
Yeah, and I think just tease Thanos again and leave him.
I think it's going to be for the third Avengers film. I think they're keying up for the whole Infinity Gauntlet kind of saga, where it's going to be to do with the Collector gathering all them items.
Yeah.
Like the Tesseract, and there was something else, wasn't there? He got
the thing from Thor.
That's the thing from Thor. The Tesseract and the thing from Thor.
That red thing.
Can you say the thing from? Oh, I can't
the thing from Thor.
That's it.
Yeah.
Thor's thing.
Not his hammer. That red thing that he had. Well, he didn't have it, but it was in the movie.
Oh, even I'm lost now. Well, I'm not going to steal any more of your notes anyway, because I'm out almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had so little time this week. All I've got is a couple of news articles that I'm going to try and segue in at some point.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. I can't really see any more on the Josh Brolin case. I don't know whether he's actually signed on or whether he's just... Is he rumoured at this point, or is he actually going to be doing it?
I've heard he was doing the voice, but whether he's doing... Because now he's going to be motion captured, whereas before it was all just a completely CG thing. So whether he's doing a motion capture or not,
Or they'll probably just get Andy Serkis into it. And Josh Brolin will just lend his voice to it. Do you think he'd be right for it? I don't know, maybe. He's got quite a good voice.
Who knows what... Does anyone know what Thanos should sound like anyway?
No, that's a good point, isn't it? But then again, like, when people voice characters like Benedict Cumberbatch in The Desolation of Smaug, you couldn't really make out that it was Benedict Cumberbatch because they put so much kind of like voice tweaking on it and stuff like that. So it didn't really sound like him. He just had a bit of a posh accent. Not that I've seen the movie, I just see the clip.
I've still not seen it, to be honest, and it was one of those I really wanted to see. He's got a new film out this year as well. I can't remember what it's called. It's about... He's the guy who cracked the Enigma code. And that's out this year. But that's all I know about it. I saw a little list on films out this year that you've probably never heard of that are under the radar, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not that bothered, but I like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict
got on salad fingers. I like Hubert Cumberdale. So.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict posh name. So. Fuck that up, didn't I, guys?
Yeah. Speaking of fucking up podcasts, I've got a good little segue here. I found an article because I was kind of stuck on things to talk about. I think it was a bit of a slow week for movie news, you know. Josh Brolin voicing Thanos was probably the biggest thing to come out, other than they're going to make a cliffhanger remake, but nobody really cares about that.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you're right.
Exactly. So I hit the old Google and I typed in things to talk about on a podcast. Now, one of the first things...
How desperate are we?
I know, right?
We're only on volume 12 and we already don't know what to do anymore.
Well, you know, when it's a slow week...
If you'd like to hear us talk about a subject...
Well, I came across this article and somebody's posted 20 ideas for an excellent podcast.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, they don't actually give topics. They basically tell you how, or they give suggestions on how to run a good podcast. And I thought if I go through these points, maybe we can say whether we're running a good podcast at the moment or whether we're just doing things completely wrong.
Viewing figures would say no.
Here's a good one. Number 1, podcasts should be short. We never do really
No.
short podcasts.
I don't agree with
30
that.
mins is the maximum, seriously, unless it's a jam-packed tight with goodness, which ours normally isn't.
But I often listen to ones that are an hour plus.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. It says
I
keep
thought
it
hours are
short.
good.
Nothing wrong with the 20-minute podcast, but honestly, you know, over 30 minutes is yeah.
Pronunciation is key.
Yeah, that's
but
probably
your spoiler cast was that half an hour?
that was half an
Yeah,
hour.
and that's just talking about one film. So
Yeah.
you know,
But-
quite as in depth, but
The podcasts that I listen to, I almost want them to be longer than they are. Normally they range from an hour to an hour and a half, and sometimes I'm like, come on, give me a little bit more, just talk about it a little bit more. So, you know, it's subjective, really, isn't it? So
I would say an hour is a good.
here's one that we don't do: break your podcast into chapters. But I guess we kind of do in sort of a weird sense, but we don't really make a note of it. We don't sort of cut between the different things that we talk about. We just segue into them. But on the video on YouTube, I
Which
do
you're all
kind of,
looking at right now.
or maybe not. You got it in the background. I don't know.
We'll go and
But
have a look.
on the video on YouTube. The not the thumbnail, but the picture that comes up on the
Yeah.
actual video, it is kind of broken down into 6 things that you can click onto if you get bored by a certain topic or something like that. So, maybe we do break it down into chapters.
Yeah, I think we do.
Number 3, have fun and be real.
Be real.
Yeah.
Keep it real.
Oh, dear. Well, we look like we're having fun.
Yeah, it says, I've noticed something about the best podcasts. They're having fun and it shows. So we've got to really show that we're having fun.
We can't show it. No one's going to see.
In our voices, in the way that we talk, the way we're excited about things, yeah! with a smile on our face, woohoo!
Oh my god!
It says, bring your enthusiasm, passion and enjoyment for what you're doing on the podcast and let us feel it with you. Be real, go easy on the hype, hyperbole, veiled self-promotion.
We don't even know what we're doing on the podcast. We're all like, we can't discuss anything beforehand.
Yeah, we
because
want it-
it's all got to be a surprise
well,
for each other.
We want it to be real. So we are kind of doing
We got
that.
1 point out of...
Yeah.
1 out of 4. On away.
Here's one.
We got a quarter of a good podcast.
Here's one. Here's a good one. Be chunky.
Wait, look at me! Fuck.
Not be chunky in a weight sense. It says make your segment short, diverse, and put an audio bumper between your segments.
Nah.
That breaks up the flow of it, doesn't it?
Who wrote this? Someone who doesn't do a podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just like, if I listened to a podcast once, I'd probably want it to be
I
like
want it
this.
to be like an audio book where someone goes, Chapter 1.
Yeah. Chapter 1, we talk about Josh Brolin. Chapter 2, we talk about how shit we are at podcasting. Here's a brilliant one. We do this to the T. Number 5, don't ramble and be organised. Some things we're doing right now. We're not organised and we're rambling just a little bit. It said, this should seem obvious, but some podcasters just flip on the mic and ramble for an hour or more.
Isn't that the point?
Yeah.
The whole point.
That's what I thought podcasting with Thor. Was Thor? 4. Yeah.
Podcasting with 4.
Yeah.
Ah, Mjolnir!
Get me a wine. Get me a beverage, you.
Fetch me ale and wedges.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought the whole point is to be spontaneous. You've got a rough, like we do, we'll make notes, and
Yeah.
these are like the subjects we're going to talk about, admittedly over an hour already, but we've got a rough idea.
Yeah. I mean, it's not as if we come completely unprepared. Sometimes we set each other homework and we come with movies and TV series that we've watched during the past week, and we pick out sort of random nuggets of news, but essentially we don't discuss, we're going to talk about this topic for 5 minutes and then we're going to switch over to the next one where we're going to talk for 20 minutes on the subject of X.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
just kind of, you turn up with your piece of paper, I've got a few notes on my iPad.
I'm old school, my piece of paper.
Yeah, and whenever we see fit, we just kind of go into the next subject without breaking the flow, without just sort of, making it sound weird. We try and keep the flow. Number 6, cram. I don't agree with this one. It says cram in as much good stuff as you can into your time. It moves quicker. What? Our minds move quicker than your mouth, so do best to pack in your podcast full of goodness and move quickly.
My mind does not move that quick.
Yeah, sometimes my mind and my mouth, they don't quite sync up. Maybe my mouth's going a bit too quickly for my mind to catch up, so maybe that's right. But I like when people kind of spend a little bit of time talking about things, like you say, a good review where people talk for, maybe 10 minutes on a certain topic without spoilers, or like myself and Chud, we did a spoiler cast, which was half an hour long, but that was literally sort of breaking down the movie, talking about each character, talking about certain points in the movie.
Which I enjoyed, because it was like, right, I've seen the film, I now want to go and listen to your spoiler cast, and it's like, yeah, agree with that. Yeah, not so sure. I could sit there and go like, yeah, agreed with like 90% of it, I think.
But whereas the video that you just released this past week, which was Mark Talks About Godzilla, which you can find on the ChapterSkip main channel.
It's a little bit patchy, I had a few technical issues,
but the thing is,
I'm still kind of burnt out from the whole baby thing. Just
you remind me as if you're trying to be Heisenberg as well.
Oh,
that's all I see. That's all I had in my head.
So
I was like, is he trying to be Heisenberg or something? Put your hat on and you shave.
Just like, no, I just wanted to wear my hat. It's like something different, and the shades were only there because I had no way of hiding that my eyeline was wandering all over
the eyeliner.
My eyeliner was running. I had to hide that my eyeliner wasn't looking directly at the camera.
No, you're lying. It's because you had not a lot of sleep from the baby. That's why. And your eyes were just like.
Well, like they are now, bloodshot and bug-eyed.
Yeah, but the thing is, you did, a 9-minute review of Godzilla, whereas you touched on certain topics and, maybe referred back to the old Godzilla movies, whereas myself and Chud, we literally, spent a good amount of time. So I think there's room
I spotted even more. Sorry to interrupt. Did you know the little kid I mentioned about? I said he was a reference. I forgot that little kid in the new one was wearing shorts as well. So with shorts, red t-shirt, baseball hat. So was the kid in Godzilla vs Megalon. It had to be a reference.
Well, I think you actually said that in last week's podcast, didn't you?
I showed the clip and I was like, oh shit, they both wore shorts as well. And I'm like, yeah, it definitely was in. There was no way around that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you say cram as much good stuff in as you can, but sometimes you could probably talk too long about a subject. But sometimes you can't, you maybe don't talk enough. Some people probably want to hear you talk at length about a certain topic, and they're like, you could have elaborated on something more, but, it's all...
Well, that's what the comment section's for.
Exactly. Number 7, be regular, but only if you've got quality. Or as we do, just do it every week, regardless whether there's 2 news stories come out or not.
We're doing it anyway.
Yeah, we'll just do it anyway.
I think one of my main reasons for not having done a lot of research this week as well has been I've gone back into the video game kind of mode this week. Right. There's been Watch Dogs has come out this week, which is kind of a major thing. Not that I've got it, but I haven't played it yet because I'm currently playing Saints Row 4, which I want to finish before I start Watch Dogs. So it's been a bit video game heavy for me.
Watch Dogs looks good. I will say that.
Yeah.
It looks very good.
It's I think it's set in a futuristic Los Angeles. You basically got a little handheld, like your phone, and you use it to hack into things, so you can switch all the traffic lights to green and cause a massive pile-up somewhere and throw off. I don't know exactly what it's about.
Now, is your video game playing due to you having a small child in your arms that you can't just kind of sit there and watch a gory movie because you think you might sort of take his
that age, they can barely see me, never mind the telly. So
all they can see is food. Yeah, give me food.
I don't know. I think it's because I've gone for a little spate without it. I find you dip into things. I suddenly have a marathon of I'm going to video game for a month, and it's like I'll ease off it and right, I'm going to cram in a load of films this month, and I kind of sort of do one thing I was going to say hardcore, but I kind of get into one thing. I'm like, right, I'm going to do this, and then the other stuff gets pushed to the back, and then it will just swap around again.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, you kind of go in sort of fits and starts with certain things. Number 8, get decent audio. Well, it's not the best audio, but it's not the worst. We sit around with one microphone. It might be a case of somebody being too loud, and sometimes when we laugh really, really loud, it just peak a little bit. But we work with what we've got. We could sort of invest hundreds of pounds getting a fancy little mixer and a couple of microphones and headphones and stuff, or we could just sit around my camera with the Rode Video Mic Pro and just kind of fix it in post as much as I can.
Yeah, because there's no way we're going to invest money that we don't have. Yeah. Because we've earned not a lot.
And the fact that, we don't have much of an audience, we kind of work, if thousands of people listen to this podcast and we start earning some revenue off it, maybe we could invest in better audio, but... you work with what you've got.
That was another reason I wanted to put the Godzilla video out, even though it was a little bit fraud, and that was kind of we haven't put any video content out for a while. No. We've got nearly 500 subscribers. I want to get something at least so they know we are still doing stuff, even if it was a little bit patchy. I need to do something that I'll work on a bit more. I'm going to change the format a little bit.
It would be nice to do some ChapterSkip filming again.
Yeah.
When we can all do it.
Having a time in it.
Yeah. Number 9, get a buddy. Well, I've got 2 buddies. Sometimes 3 when Chud turns up. Obviously it makes sense to have somebody to talk to because...
No, does anyone do a one-man podcast?
I think some people do, but probably I listen to a few podcasts where it's just one guy, but often they have somebody in to talk to as an interview, as a special segment.
Right.
So the intro will be then just talking, touting the website, touting the Twitter, Facebook or whatever, maybe talking about a couple of topics, but...
I thought he was going to say talking about Cthulhu.
talking about Cthulhu, yeah. No, just talking about a couple of subjects or topics or whatever, and then it'll go into the main sort of segment, but... I guess most podcasts do have several people in them, so
At least
kind of makes sense.
I think you need that. And otherwise, if it's one person, it's got to be scripted. You're going to have to go off a script, aren't you?
Yeah,
Well,
really.
you don't
can't
get that
bounce-
reaction though,
no,
can you?
You can't bounce ideas off each other.
That's the
right?
thing, if I say something funny and you laugh, then I know it's funny. But if I was just
Just
talking...
that-
You can always laugh at yourself.
That's right, though, when you're going, oh, listen to this, and then he...
You're
walks
so
into the
funny.
door.
You're
Oh,
so
dear.
funny, Joe. Thanks, Joe.
Yeah.
That'd be your own buddy. It's
own
me and
buddy.
Joe. Hi, welcome to ChapterSkip. I'm Joe.
Joe.
It's the Joe Show.
That's maybe what you could do, just the Joe Show where you just talk to yourself.
I could probably live in a cupboard for a month and just do it from there or something.
You've got lots of things you promised to do. You were going to eat things and shit them out, weren't you? And then
No, you said you wanted me to do it. I didn't promise.
I'm sure there was something else, a random task you were going to do.
I think it's just
I don't know.
sticking things inside you, wasn't it?
Oh, was that what it was?
You guys. Oh, you guys.
Well, whether it's your mouth, your ears, or your bum.
Or your bumhole, Leo.
If you want to see Joe insert things into himself,
Fuck off.
Subscribe to the podcast channel.
we'll do a
Probably
special
get lots
video
more
podcast of
probably get lots more subscribers. Wrong ones, but we'll probably get lots more.
one man, 10 pistachios, as he inserts them.
Oh
gently.
God!
What are we talking about? Rambling
know.
on.
I just looked down and
Rambling
thought, what is pistachio nuts? That'll do.
We're rambling on
We're
again.
breaking number 5 of the 20 things you
Sorry.
should... Number 10, have show notes on your blog. We do have a blog. It's in the description, but we don't update it.
Not very often.
So maybe we could show notes in the blog, but it'd mainly be, we talked about this, then we talked about this, then we rambled on about this. It wouldn't be that interesting to read, I'm
The
sure.
problem is our actual, real, non-ChapterSkip lives interfere with what we do so much.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh shit, I have to really remind myself to tweet something, and it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I've realised the other day, it's like, I've not tweeted a podcast there. A podcast in months, and I looked, it's like, oh, you've done something, that's fine, that's alright.
Yeah. If you're going to do interviews, basically let your guests talk, so you basically just don't talk over them. But we don't often have guests. I say often. Chud was like a guest and then he stuck around for a couple of weeks, so I guess he could be considered a guest. But I suppose that kind of transposes to each and every one of us. If I'm talking and you're just talking over me, then it just makes for a shit podcast. We listen to each other and nod our heads rather than go, yeah, I agree.
We should get some guests in. Bob the Tramp and things like that.
Old man Wang. Yeah.
Old man Wang, Bob the Tramp.
I must admit, I am guilty of talking over people, but it's not like an intentional rudeness. It's just like, oh, I'm enthusiastic to talk about. I've got to get this idea out of my brain before I forget.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. You can notice when somebody's just talking over somebody, but then you can notice the difference to when somebody wants to get something really quickly because it's on the tip of their tongue, and if they don't get it out, if they don't say it or splurt it out right now, it'll get lost or it won't have that much impact.
Yeah.
So I do find that, and you can tell when I'm editing it, you can see where the waveforms get louder and louder and louder. When we're all just really talking, we're all just trying to get in that funny point, or trying to think of the latest James Franco pun or something like that.
Oh God, not that again.
Yeah. Don't be scared to throw away your show. We've done that before. We did one podcast and we didn't post it.
Oh yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I can't
It was a good
remember why.
podcast, but yeah, I think it's gone forever now, so...
I can't. What happened to that?
I think we did it, and then I didn't have time to edit it, and then we just did it the following
Which
week.
is a bit old news then, wasn't it? Yeah, we'd recorded a new one and hadn't edited it. That's right, yeah.
Speaking of editing, it says do some editing, which I do, yeah. Take the files, stick them into the audio editor, stick some compression on it, bit of normalization, make it sound a little bit better, pop it in the timeline, put the picture on it so it can be annotated, so you can skip to the next chapter if you wish. So yeah, we do some editing. Use music. Nah, we don't want to use any music,
We've occasionally burst into song, so what do you want?
Sometimes Joe makes up songs about Power Rangers and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Tighten up that intro and keep moving. I think we got the intro timed up pretty well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to ChapterSkip. I'm Joe Mark Sean, and we're doing a podcast. That's our intro.
Our intro's been set in stone since the first ChapterSkip video, really. Was that just off the cuff as well?
I think it was. It was myself and you, wasn't it, Mark?
Yeah,
and I think we literally just put the camera on and just went, what should we say? How should we intro it? It was just like, I guess it's the normal thing to do is just say hello and then explain what we're doing. So it was like, hello and welcome to ChapterSkip.
Yeah.
And today we're bringing you a trailer review for Mama.
It's weird to watch that now. At the time, we were like, we're so proud of this, look what we've done. And you watch it now and think, well, that's bad.
And then you think of how many people have watched it.
Especially when you think of like 100,000 people have watched it and you're like, yeah, it weren't very good.
Yeah, I know,
We were in front
right?
of a sheet and we didn't really
Sheep.
know what we were doing.
It'd have been nice if, like, maybe that was one of our sort of test ones, and then maybe as we got towards maybe, I don't know, when do you think we really sort of turned it around and sort of started getting into our groove? Because, like, Mama obviously was our first ever video.
I don't know,
we didn't know how to speak, we didn't know how to act on camera, we didn't have an auto cue, we didn't really even have a script, did we?
No, I think I wrote. I don't know. I think we
But not
made
like
some notes. No, not an actual like we used.
It was
to.
more just, point one, I want to talk about the trailer, it features some girl, or, it's
But
directed
before
by
we-
Guillermo del Toro or whatever.
Probably Great and Powerful Oz, no?
I don't know because I still like the Expendables one, which was one that we'd done. We'd all watched that before we'd done the trailer reviews. We kind of planned to do that after we all watched Expendables too. I still like that as a review. It's not quite as together as the latest.
Yeah,
one,
that's
but
the
it works
thing. Yeah,
really well.
I think
the comedy
then
stuff was great. The skits
we
were great.
started to tie in the skits a bit more. Whereas, I think you said it ages ago, not on any kind of record, but I think you said it to me in a message or something. You were saying the skits kind of came out randomly. It weren't what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Whereas we then started tying in our video to the skits and the script and stuff like that. We wouldn't just go, oh yeah, and then it featured James Franco, and then it goes to a skit about candles or something. we did try and fit it in. If we were talking about James Franco, we wanted to do a skit about James Franco.
Some of Expendables fit in. I think like the Rubik's Cube thing made sense. The potato didn't make a lot of sense.
No.
But it was just kind of like Jason Statham at star with his.
No.
What the fuck is wrong with my
Just
mouth
say
today?
potato head.
God damn.
I think I've got a bit of that as well.
Short time day today. But yeah, it's like he looks like a potato. Let's do a skit with him as a potato. And I'd done a little. I really wanted to make a little potato man, didn't I?
Yeah.
I was really busy that day because it was like I made Rubik's Cube. Could have just fucking bought one or something. And then after I'd made it, and then you were like, "Yeah, I've got one at home." I'm like, "What the fuck, Joe?" And I made a potato man. So, and we worked really hard on the lighting.
And we was all really proud of it.
It was. I still really like it though because I think it works.
It's good fun.
But odd ones stand out as like Bad Milo. I think were really good ones.
Yeah, you get some good ones and some bad and others.
Well, we was always torn between whether we wanted to actually have the skits continue one to another or make them sort of stand out skits.
Yeah.
Like some of them actually linked into one another, and you could put the skits together and they would make sort of, like a little 5-minute, probably a bit disjointed, but they would make like a little sort of short film. Whereas some skits were literally just, 30 seconds, a minute and a half of just standalone.
Yeah.
But then we did ones that you could, like the Halloween ones, every over 4 weeks.
Yeah.
They all could have. You could put all them skits together and make one.
Yeah.
complete-
What did it start off with? It started with that movie that Slash
was it
did.
Your Next?
Oh no, it started with Your Next, wasn't it?
It was Your Next, and then
Because Your Next,
Chucky.
you played the role of the hooded guy who wanted to get me because of
which a
some
lot of
reason.
people wouldn't know because with the fancy editing where I was actually me and myself in the same shot.
Yeah,
A lot of people probably would have thought it was you and not realised I was doing the.
maybe. But yeah, and then in that skit, I think we did the
Scooby-Doo
thing, didn't we? And then
We killed the. Oh,
We
that's it,
killed-
bad
we killed
guy
the
Rocky.
hooded guy,
I did
didn't
the
we?
stupid spatula line.
and then that carried on to the next week where we did Chucky.
Because then he
Well-
got his soul into the scissors.
That's it. And the scissors cut my hair. Then I became ginger for some hair. How did that work?
Oh, with hair transplant. It was my pubes and Joe's beard.
That's it. And then the following week we did the movie that.
Something to do with God, wasn't it? You
No, it's the
prayed-
Slash one.
Oh, that was the Slash one. That's it.
What the hell was that movie
you
called?
prayed.
Yeah, I prayed that I didn't want to be ginger.
What was that film called?
I can't remember now.
Oh, I don't know. Slash horror movie. Check it out.
Guns N' Roses.
It was average.
Yeah. And
There
then
was another one.
Yeah, and I woke up, didn't I? And I had ginger hair, and then I was being all like
prayed to
preaching
God,
God.
yeah.
And then that went into the next one. I can't remember. Yeah, that's quite good.
And we well thinking about it even further than that when we did the Stitches. John dies at the end. Carried on directly from that because that was you getting revenge for us for injuring you, wasn't it? Yeah, you had to have your testicles replaced. So you were getting revenge on us by putting the soy sauce in the. So those two, I think you could watch together as well, and it would tie in. Weirdly
Interesting
enough.
stuff.
Memories.
Yeah, we're all reminiscing.
We're getting smacked in the balls with a rake.
Yeah. Memories.
Well, this ties into the next thing. It says, Titan... Oh no, I just did that one. Go ahead and advertise. We put it on Facebook and Twitter.
We've done West Beach Festival.
We did a rock festival.
Yeah, we don't have the money to advertise. Verbally identify your podcast. At the start of your podcast, be quick.
This is a podcast.
Yeah, we are doing a podcast.
You are not watching it, you are listening to it.
But it says here, at the start of your podcast, be quick, tell us the date, issue number, topic, guest, etc. Well, we don't really do it by dates because we record this ahead of time, then post it on a Friday.
Captain's log.
Technically, we could post date it and...
Yeah, but the date is published is surely enough for people to be like, oh, this was...
Yeah, exactly. Well,
You didn't say the date, did you?
I don't think any of this podcast. Anyone's going to listen to this 20 years from now when there's a remake of some film that we've just mentioned going, that's not what happens in it.
you didn't put the date on.
Bryan Cranston in Godzilla? I think not. We all know that was Justin Bieber.
Oh, God.
And the last...
He played Godzuki. He was Minya.
It says, don't make me your third wheel. My time is precious and I'm giving you some of it.
Who is this person?
Well, this is the person speaking as a listener, I suppose, but
I don't like his attitude.
I like listening to people just chat and you kind of feel like part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even find myself like chatting to them even though they can't hear me. You know.
Oh my God.
They'll be talking about some certain subject and I'll be like, oh yeah, I totally agree with
He's
you.
got problems.
Mental.
I need some
In your
friends.
car at the fucking at a traffic stop, talking to him. Yeah, this is amazing. What I thought about this, and they're like,
Well, I'm sure that these are my friends in the radio. They were real friends.
oh my God.
Get pulled
In the car next to you, winding the window up really quick. Like, don't look at him.
Get pulled over by the police. Are you talking on your phone? No, I'm just talking to
radio.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith.
He's my mate, you know.
I talk to him every week.
You got something in your boots, eh?
No, just a camera. What have you got on there? No,
God.
nothing.
I see Kevin Smith put a picture up of the actor who plays. Is it the Tusk? What's the film called, Tusk?
Tusk.
Yeah, he put a picture up of the actor playing it, where he's like laying there on the table with all blood and that all over.
Oh, in the suit. Oh, all
They
right.
just all got blood.
When is that out?
Just see a picture.
It's out.
Really wanna
I see. It
see it.
says in
Go on then,
in
let's see
August.
Oh.
Autumn. So,
Oh, right. Oh, so it's
in the
definitely
fall.
this year.
So it's this year.
Yeah, there's
it's-
a picture. Go on if you've got him added on Facebook.
I will look at it later on. But as this isn't a very visual medium,
Listen to us looking on Facebook.
yeah, maybe this should be something that they
friend
put.
request.
If you're doing a podcast, don't talk about pictures.
Or go on your iPad.
That was like today. I phoned home from work and I was chatting to my daughter and she's going like, "Look at my dress, Daddy." I'm like, how am I going to say it? She's going, "Look down the phone." And I was like, well, you tell me first. Can you look down the phone and see me? And there's like a moment of silence and going, no. I'm like, right then, let's continue with the conversation.
Well, I suppose you could do FaceTime. Then you could see a dress, but do you have that kind of technology?
Skype.
Well, you got
I've
Nokia.
Skype. I don't know what FaceTime
You got a
is. I'm
Nokia
lost now.
3210 still.
What the hell's FaceTime? Am I that old? I don't know what's going on.
It's like Skype, basically. It's a video chat.
Oh, I do video chat on the phone. I didn't know how to spell.
You can look at
Grandad
people on
here
your
doesn't know what's
phone.
going on.
And number 20, the final thing that we should do on our podcast to make it good so we get more than 10 views is if you have something important / valuable to say, get something out there. It may not be perfect, but if you've got great content, some omissions from the above list are tolerated. So basically, he's just sort of gone through and said, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, but, you know, if what you're talking about is good, then you'll have a good podcast. So he's kind of negated all of his 19...
Who is this
I
guy?
don't know. Let's have a look.
He probably doesn't listen to us, does he? Email him and go,
Email him and say, listen to us,
Yeah.
tell him what you think. And
We
then
break every one of your
You should
20...
do that. You should do that. You should email him and then see what he thinks, and then we'll read it out next week.
We go,
So,
I couldn't
yeah.
listen to it. It was shit. They broke all
Yeah,
the
but
rules.
we'll still read it
apart from
out,
one.
even if he gives it a bad
We'll come back and we're like, hello, welcome to ChapterSkip podcast 13. He didn't email back. Dun, dun, dun.
The end. See you next week.
Probably would.
All right, I've got some content. Obviously, we all go to cinema a lot. We watch stuff like Godzilla and things like that. But I've noticed none of us are really that bothered about 3D. I think
No.
no one at all.
Not really.
So I don't know if you realise.
Occasionally, yeah, I have watched movies in 3D.
But you're not like, I have to do this in 3D.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll go and watch them, but I'm never that bothered. But I don't think how aware you are of how realistic 3D is getting and the dangers of watching a film in 3D. This is a news article. I'm not entirely sure how new it is, but this was sent to me by my wife actually this week.
Did you do preparation and bring in a newspaper? It's all digital now, man.
I think you'd find this is clearly an American story.
All right.
This is basically, I shall read the article to you as much as I can. A white American couple who...
That's off bad.
The guy, the husband, I guess, as he was, is a soldier. He's been away for a year in a military base in Iraq, and then when he returned home, he found that his wife has had a black baby. Remember, he's not been home for a year.
Right.
Obviously, he thought there was something odd about this, but his wife had told him that this happened to her after she watched a 3D porno film. And his answer was, I see no reason to disbelieve her, as 3D films are very lifelike. With the technology of today, anything is possible. And he's registered as the baby's father. And she said that she'd gone to the porno cinema in New York with some girls that she had, some girlfriends, and she'd gone to see just what a porn film looked like with 3D effects, and claims that 1 month later, after watching the film, she found she was pregnant, and her black son looked like the black lead that was in the film. And she now plans on suing the cinema and the movie producers, and said, luckily my husband believes me. It could have wrecked my marriage, but he knew that I'm faithful to him.
It sounds like something should be on Jerry Springer or Jeremy Kyle.
I think he was the most gullible man since the woman went up to her husband and said, I'm a virgin, but I think we're having a baby. But God did it!
It's not just that. He's fighting for America.
He's fighting for America.
What the fuck?
Porn films made me press. I don't know if you was aware how realistic 3D could get now.
So when he's in the war and he gets shot by a bullet or something, that could impregnate him or something
So
like
if
that.
you go watch a 3D porn film, I come out going, my ass is sore.
Because you know, like when you went, like you've been to Disney World, didn't you, in America?
Yeah.
And you went and watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I'm a mouse baby.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and things like that. And in the seats they have like the tails come up when the rats and things.
Yeah.
And all that. They probably had like his dick or something. Like go up.
It's a 4D cinema.
Yeah, that's that sort of thing. It was like that.
Come out the cinema.
Probably.
Boy, am I sweating. That's not sweat.
Why am I covered in mayonnaise? So yeah, 3D is becoming more realistic.
Are you sure she was just like, right, I'm just going to wear some like hipster style glasses and go watch a live sex show.
Yeah.
And then like the lead guy wasn't actually on the screen, he was just jacking off on the stage.
She accidentally sat on some spooge.
Probably slipped
Oh, maybe, right?
Floor.
Because it's a porno cinema, maybe like maybe a black gentleman went in to watch the matinee showing, sitting there cracking one off, and then he was just like, I didn't bring a tissue, you know.
Wiped on an adjacent seat.
I need my socks, I can't put it in my sock. Yeah. What shall I do with it? Yeah. Wipes on a seat. She comes in and thinks, alright, this is pretty good. Very realistic. There's a big, black penis on the screen. Starts to get a little bit horny, maybe sort of like, I don't know, starts pleasuring herself or whatever, and then she's just, that's how the semen gets introduced.
Or the semen gets introduced.
Or she could be
hello, Mr. Seaman.
Nice to meet you.
What if you met my friend, Vagina?
Good day, sir. Or she could have been like, this is amazing 3D film and there's this black man's taking advantage of her and he's just having sex with her. She's like, this is so real. Wow, look at that. You know what I mean? There's a cock in my face. You know what I mean?
Like he's really slapping me.
He's like, I'm going to come here more.
Feel the balls against your forehead. What the fuck is he angling for?
I'm going to come here more often, I bet he's thinking. That was amazing. Could I? You have to find out the answer for us.
The answer to what?
For that question.
So you've got to go and investigate. You've got to go to a porno cinema in 3D.
Do we even have one anywhere around here?
No, I mean, like, you've got to find out the answer if they get sued. If the cinema gets sued and all that jazz.
Oh, okay. I'll see if I can. I've got to go into a cinema and see if I come out pregnant.
Or we could just go. You could always go over and see her in America. And
why? Why me? What's it me for?
Well, I just Google
with
it.
your journalist hat on and that, and be like,
journalist
hat.
A little card in it that says press. The dame walked in. I thought she was a bit of a twat when she told me she got pregnant in the movies.
Cigarette in your mouth. And your camera, we got to change the bulb with the flash bulb. We can change it.
So you went into the cinema, right? I don't know, I've got Sean Connery.
I knew something was wrong when she told me Ron Jeremy was the father. So he's done tie up somehow.
So you sat down, you put on your glasses, and then the next 9 months were just a blur, and you were pregnant with a black man's baby.
This doesn't add up, see? This doesn't add up.
I've got the facts here, see, and what you're saying just doesn't add up.
We're staying with sex-related things.
Stay with going mental.
This was in Wales. This is another news article I got for it. Again, I don't know when it happened.
Is it anything to do with sheep?
see if
Sorry,
you-
Welsh people.
No. This is it is sex-related and to do with Welsh people. See if you can guess what happened to this couple when they'd gone into
Had a black
hospital.
baby?
No. The man needed penis treatment, and his wife had burns, black eyes, and a broken cheekbone.
Oh, hang on. Right, so what links penis treatment with, what was it, black eyes?
Well, he had a penis injury. She had black eyes, burns. I believe they were on her back. It could have been anywhere really, and a broken cheekbone.
Broken cheekbone.
They-
Right, I've got an idea.
Was they on a roller coaster?
This is a sexual-related thing, though. So
Yeah, they could be having sex on a roller coaster.
there you got them things that come down over you and hold you in place. I think it would.
Right.
There's
hazardous.
rooms in
They
there.
were in...
And the fluid would hit the people behind. Sorry.
They were in the throes of passion, right?
Okay.
In the foreplay section.
I've got no idea.
Foreplay section.
The foreplay
What is
section.
this?
They were in,
Like a supermarket.
they were in Act 1, the foreplay. They were fondling around. So
I'm in
the
a supermarket and I noticed there's no cucumbers. They're in the foreplay section. Oh, thank you.
Tile 3.
Thank you, sir.
That's aisle 69.
I was 69.
Right, hear me out.
Okay.
They were in the throes of passion, in the beginning sequences, in the intro, so to speak.
Right.
They were getting hot and heavy. The man whips out his penis. He stands proud and erect.
Someone's masturbating to this right now.
Can tell it's not a 3D podcast.
Oh, isn't it?
Oh.
You get pregnant, look out.
I've got Mark from ChapterSkip's baby.
Please sit 10 paces away from the laptop. Just to make sure.
Hear me out.
Right.
In the
Yeah.
throes of
Hear me
passion.
out.
He's got his member stands proud and erect. The woman is delighted at what she sees, so she begins pleasuring him with her hand. And in the vigorous amount of thrusting, she pulls too hard and gives him a penis burn, and it slips out of her hand, and she punches herself in the cheek.
She had the burns.
Yeah, she had the burn.
She had the burns.
But
Oh,
the
so
penis
she-
injury
Right, she
didn't
did-
specify it was injury, did it?
No.
So I'm
You'll
gonna say,
find out, but...
Well, I'm going to say...
I've got no idea. Look.
Right, I'm guessing he gets penis burns. She whips back, maybe could be a dislocated cock, you know, she pulls back.
Dislocated cock.
She pulls back too vigorously, right? Punches herself. Listen to me!
Punches him in the... I was giving someone a wank and punch myself in the face.
You're doing it wrong.
She's Welsh, what can I say? Right, she's going at it, she's going vigorously.
Oh no!
Oh no, what was that?
It's come off in my hand.
She's going vigorously.
Scottish.
Let me finish! Is what he said.
We're breaking the rule. We're interrupting Sean.
Oh,
Let Sean finish his masturbatory story.
hey.
She's going vigorously.
Right.
Right? You know, she
What they don't know is you're making these hand actions as you're telling this fucking story.
Would you rather me not? I'm doing this for your benefit.
You're pointing
Let
at
him
the joke.
finish. We'll be here all night.
I'm creating a mental picture in your mind right now.
Oh, great.
So basically, she's going at it, you know, penis in hand. She's like, "Oh, are you enjoying this, baby?" He's like, "Yeah, fucking brilliant," you know. And then, you know, her hands start to sweat, gets a little bit loose. She pulls his penis, punches herself in the face. She flails back onto the hot stove and burns her back.
Oh, it was a kitchen related. Okay.
I didn't mention that, did I?
This is my idea. It may be wrong.
He's
but
got he's got at least one fact right in there though.
Oh, right.
Oh.
Well, that's good then.
So what are you going to go for?
I was just going to say, is this anything to do with an animal at all?
No.
All right, that's mine out.
She got burnt by a fire-breathing dragon.
Welsh
Godzilla.
dragon.
What it was, Sean got the kitchen part right.
Hey!
The man was in the kitchen cooking sausages.
Oh, not his sausage.
The lady was downstairs tending to his sausage orally. Unfortunately, in the heat of
She got
passion,
the wrong sausage.
he lost a grip on his pan and spilt boiling oil down her back. At which point, her teeth clenched upon his member.
Ah!
And in his agony, he smacked her around the head with a frying pan.
Get the fuck off me!
Unclench woman!
And thanks again to my wife for providing that story for me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Amy.
But I think they didn't quite admit that initially at hospital. What happened? I think it was a tad embarrassed.
They went with my story. They went the whole in the throes of passion.
What would have been worse?
They probably went
her getting that oil down her back, or him getting his.
I think the penis bitten would be worse.
Depends how
hot
viciously
the oil was.
I'd rather have oil on me than the bitten penis. I think.
I don't know. Well, yeah, actually, bitten penis does sound quite
I think if someone spilled oil on me, I wouldn't suddenly develop a fear of sausages and kitchens. But if someone bit me cock off, I'd probably develop a sudden fear of blowjobs.
And sausages.
and sausages.
And sausages, yeah.
Sausages for tea, Mark? No, thanks.
No! Again!
I did have another random thought then, and it's gone. Anyway, that's every single bit of my documentation gone.
So how many rules we broke now then, Sean?
Right, number 1, podcast should be short, broken. Rate your podcast into chapters, broken. Have fun and be real.
Yeah.
As real as you can get retelling
really
stories
cold
about 3D pornos and sexual incidents. Yeah, we're chunky.
We're chunky.
Don't ramble, be organised. We're completely organised. We're cramming in as much good as we can. Yeah, we're cramming, penis jokes and whatnot into a podcast.
Penis jokes and whatnot.
We're regular.
Is that the title?
What was it?
Penis jokes and whatnot.
Penis jokes and whatnot. Volume 12.
Volume 12.
Be regular. Yeah, we did it last week. We did it the week before. We're doing it this week, and hopefully we'll do it next week. Unless YouTube says you can't talk about things like that on YouTube and get away with it, and then axes us.
I think we'll be fine.
I think we will be fine.
I think you can't. Oh yeah, you're allowed to show lady boobs now. They seem to show it in trailers. Before they'd be censored.
Lady
As opposed to man.
Well, man boobs weren't ever censored out, but female breasts apparently were extremely offensive. And they'd always edit them out, but now you see them in trailers, and no one seems to be that offended.
Well, I guess it depends on the movie. If it's like a PG-13 movie, sometimes YouTube does stop people from watching videos if they are like under the age or whatever. Sometimes you have to log into your channel to view certain content.
But YouTube used to be very anti-breasts. But
Yeah.
like I said, I've seen a few on there.
Well,
I've seen the odd tit on YouTube.
YouTube.com/ChapterSkip.
That's because you've been searching for porn on YouTube, haven't you, Mark?
Who searches for porn on YouTube?
That's what you've been doing wrong.
Well,
That's what I'm doing wrong, yeah.
No
well,
tits.
talking about that, like certain people do use like thumbnails of women,
Yeah.
voluptuous women and stuff like that. Here's a weird thing.
Here's one now that we're going to put up to get some more listeners.
Yeah, picture of a sausage
Some old
being
granny,
bitten.
granny boobs or something.
Oh, God, no, sorry.
Well-
You reminded me of something I'm saying about grannies. Sorry.
Well, basically, here's something really quickly. My girlfriend used to have like a phone, and at school she used to like take random videos of her friends and stuff like that, just pissing around and whatever. It's one of them things. It's only funny if you were part of it or whatever.
Right.
So for her and her friends to view it, she put it on YouTube, and one of the captions was like, "Oh, I'm well sexy," like they're pulling funny faces, like, "Oh, I'm well sexy."
Nice.
That video got over 100,000 views, and then you can go in and see who's been viewing it. It's like males 30 to 50. It's like, oh my god!
Oh,
Like
yeah.
they're actually searching on YouTube for like
ridiculous.
sexy women and stuff like that.
That's ridiculous. I was one of them. I mean,
You're the one who listens to that.
Shame.
Oh, God, I forgot. Who's that girl who does the Japanese and always got her tits half hanging out?
oh no, that's Lewis who watches that.
Is it? Oh, I
That
thought
one who
Chud-
looks like
Chud as well.
she's Japanese, but she
No, she does
American,
Japanese
isn't she?
lessons, don't she? Or
like
something.
Kitty or something.
But all her things are like, oh, cleavage.
It's just a shot always of her boobs. Yeah. She's fit though.
I do watch regularly.
You're a subscriber, are you?
I watch it in 3D.
You've had the odd penis injury.
Motorball.
I watch it in 3D while I'm cooking fries and sausages.
Cooking fries.
Yeah.
Really?
Chips then.
Really?
I
Yeah, properly.
I prefer fries better than chips.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where's this going?
I don't know, I'm just like, I'm trying to get
Grannies.
this podcast going.
Yeah, trying to be real now.
Grannies.
Oh no, it reminded me of Grannies.
Segue.
Oh, now what to do this when Chud's here? I had a list of like unusually titled porn films. I was hoping like we'd do this with Chud because I haven't brought it with me
Because
for a
he's a
start,
granny.
and because I think he'd appreciate the weird. But one of them, I will spring this there because you mentioned grannies. I'm gonna have to segue into it. Was called Airtight Grannies. I don't even know what the fuck that would be about.
Here's something funny. Have you ever like
seen
opened? Yeah, it's really funny. Have you ever opened up the pages of, say, the tabloid press of something like the Daily Sport?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's one of those papers that comes out on a Sunday and they have headlines like UFO strikes the White House, and then they talk about something completely random.
The last thing I saw in there was it the Korean plane that went missing? And they put Korean plane found on the moon.
Yeah, basically they put a load of shit on there in their paper,
made up.
and like towards the back of the paper before the actual sports section, you have all those pictures of hotlines that you can call.
Right.
And there's people like, you know, MILFs call 1-800-MILF or whatever, and there was one that says gummy grannies give good blowjob. And it's like, who's gonna ring that up?
Well, who's going to watch airtight? Why do they need to be airtight?
Probably because
they fill them with helium and float them away.
they're probably going to use her as a submarine or something.
Why does Granny need to
Put her
be
in some water. They
airtight?
put her in water.
But I'll bring that list
bubbles.
anyway, and I'm sure we can have some fun with that one.
Well, that's pretty good, because that leads on to ChapterSkip Podcast 13. It gives people a reason to come back, which should have been on that top 20 list of things for the podcast, is to hook people in,
So you go.
get them to listen in
next week. A bit like bizarrely titled porn films.
Yeah.
That's our homework.
Yeah, to do some research.
There's a weird. I've never found it anywhere. I just wanted to see it, not like for porn reasons, just for the bizarreness of it. I've only found a little clip. I probably should. No, I don't know. I'll do it this week. Blame me load a little bit early. Little tease for people. I found a little clip of a bizarre Japanese one called Tampon Tango.
And
All
you
I've
watched
seen,
it?
I've only seen
That's
the first
gonna be
5 minutes.
horrible.
It's two
First
guys.
5 minutes. That's all I could stand.
They got tampons and
There's two
Candice
guys running down the street with tampons tied to their tallywhackers, and they're just running down the street, and everyone else is fully clothed, dry humping the pavement, while a man with a bullhorn stands there shouting, "Down with the USA! Down with herpes!"
Is that another
That's
day in
all I've
Japan?
seen.
Another normal day in Japan.
Who the fuck is whacking off to this?
Whilst you were whacking off.
Yeah.
It's Japan.
Oh, well, it'll do.
Whilst you were frying up your sausages.
Japan.
It's Japan.
Well, I think that does it for another edition of the ChapterSkip podcast. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, do let us know in the comment section below.
If you've seen Tampon Tango,
Yeah, let us know.
how it ends.
Give us a full in-depth review, and we may feature it on the ChapterSkip channel.
Panel.
ChapterSkip panel. I was going to say ChapterSkip podcast, but
We'll do a spoiler cast on Tampon Tango
And also,
and airtight grannies.
and also, we still want you to swap with us.
yeah, we talked about it last week. We have a DVD called Skinned Deep, which features Warwick Davis
It's not
as a
porn.
character called Plates. And apparently it's, well, you can go back and listen to Volume 11 and hear Joe's review of Skinned Deep. And if you guys would like to swap another bad movie for this one, then leave us a comment down below. Hit us up on YouTube, Facebook or Twitter. All the links are down in the description. So that just about...
So if you've got a copy of Airtight Grannies and you want us to review it,
and want to swap it for
Tampon
Skin
Tango.
Deep. On behalf of ChapterSkip, I'm Sean.
I'm Joe.
and I'm still Mark.
We'll catch you guys again next time.
See ya.
Laters.